All right, I think we're good to go ahead and get started. So welcome. This is the What Major Should I Choose Exploratory Workshop presented by NAU Gateway Advising. Kind of some logistics. We're going to have about 30 to 45 minutes of content for you all today, and then we'll have the last 15 to 30 minutes for Q&As. So if you think of any questions that you were really wanting to get answered today, feel free to drop those in the Q&A box, and we will get to those verbally, through text, through DM, in multiple different ways, but we'll definitely have all of those questions answered during the ending of our presentation during that Q&A session. My name is Kelly Castleman. I use they, them, theirs pronouns. I am a first-year advisor here with NAU Advising.
Hi, my name is Holland Fields. I use she, her pronouns, and I also am with Kelly and Robbie in Gateway Advising for first-year students, and I also work with engineering students all the way to graduation.
And I'm Robbie. I also use they, them pronouns. I am a first-year advisor and a graduate of NAU.
All right, awesome. So again, we're talking about what major should you choose, talking about exploration with majors. So we'll just go ahead and dive right on in.
Awesome. So before we really dive in, we want you all to know it is okay to not know what major you're going to choose. It is okay to be unsure. And we want to let you know that it's good to take time to explore this. This is a big decision. Fun fact, most college students change their major at least once. All of us have changed their major when we were in college. And another thing to think about is that your degree does not necessarily determine your career, okay? We'll talk about our degrees and then we're all in advising. Who knew? And ultimately, this is your decision. We do value input from our family and from our teachers and our community. But at the end of the day, you need to feel and know that this is your choice and your decision because you're the ones doing the classes. You're the one earning this degree. So we want to just start you off with that. And now we want to look at our experiences. So I went to Arizona State University, go Sun Devils, but I also love the Lumberjacks, obviously. And I studied Spanish. To be really honest, this major was really hard for me. I chose it because I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew that if I could speak another language, I could communicate with more people. Who knew? But I didn't really know what I was getting into. I didn't have an advisor, shocking. And so this major was really tricky, really difficult. It didn't fit with my natural skill set and abilities. There are times I wish I did another major. And then there's other times that I'm really thankful for my experiences with learning Spanish. What it did do was it taught me how to do hard things. It taught me how to ask for help. I sought out a lot of tutoring and support from my classmates. But what I really loved about this major was it opened up my world to different people and cultures and experiences. I got to study abroad. I got to learn history and just a language that I didn't grow up in. And so it opened me up to just what else is out there. And I think it helped me learn a lot about myself too. So that was my college experience.
So hi again, I'm Kelly. I did a Bachelor of Science in Women and Gender Studies from here at NAU. I graduated in fall 2019. So the funny thing was I came into NAU being so sure, so very sure I was going to be a physics and astrophysics major. And so that's what I did when I applied. And then the summer before I came up to NAU, I was like, you know what? I don't know what I want to do yet. And then I switched again, like my first, probably the week before classes started, I switched to studio art. And then halfway through the first semester, I changed to mathematics. And then I changed back to studio art and mathematics. And I was making all of these different changes because I was just genuinely so unsure of what I wanted to do. And I think that with a lot of the things we're going to talk about today, like transferable skills, learning about liberal studies courses, exploring classes within different areas, I was able to finally settle down on my major of women and gender studies. And I have to say, I am so glad I ended up with this major. I loved it. It was something I'm really passionate about and still am passionate about. I was able to pick 2 minors based on classes I had been exploring and some transfer credit on the side. So I was really able to I was very privileged to have an experience that I was able to really explore my different options, and then felt like I was very well-rounded at the end. I feel very confident in my presentation skills. I feel very confident in critical reading and writing. I feel so much more aware of things like cultures that are different than mine, of experiences that people have that I didn't, of all of these different unique things that make people individuals. And I just found that it ended up being the right major for me. And I really had to let go of this mindset that I had to do one certain major. So that was my experience.
Hi everyone, Robbie here again. So as I mentioned, I'm a graduate from Northern Arizona University. I graduated back in 2017 with a Bachelor of Science, in Psychological Sciences with a minor in social work. Now, I am very open about the fact that I do indeed regret the degree that I finished with. Not because it's a bad degree, but it wasn't for me. And I wasn't honest with myself about that while I was an undergrad. So I very much do regret the degree I got. There are things I wish I would have done instead. And now I use that as a way to help students and guide them with trying to figure out, what do you want to do? Because this is it. This is your big shot to get that education. And if you want to do something that you feel you're going to benefit from, if you want to do something that you're passionate about, something you truly feel is your next step in life, I would encourage you to explore that and to go see what out there is for you.
Awesome. Thank you both for sharing that. So with that, we want to do some checking in with you. So some things that we want to talk about are like, where are you at in the process of exploring majors? And what do you think is important? So what I would like you all to do is go ahead, grab your phone, open up a new tab in your browser, and go ahead and let us know where you're at in the process of choosing a major. Up here at the top is where you can respond. You can either respond at pollev.com/NAU Gateway 254 or text NAU Gateway 254 to 37607 once to join, and then select A, B, or C. Awesome. Some people have ideas for their majors. Some people might be unsure. Some people might not be sure where to start. Some of you may have looked at options. Looks like that answer went away. That's okay. So yeah, if you want to go ahead and do this with us, we have a couple other things we want to show you as well. So yeah, keep joining in. I know it takes a little bit to get everything started up, so. So Holland, were you always sure you were going to be a Spanish major?
Well, I thought that's a great question. I thought maybe I'd be a Spanish teacher, and then I realized I was not good at Spanish. So then I said, let's not teach others, let's just learn it. And I loved what I learned. But yeah, I think I did know that from the beginning, but I wish someone had told me the logistics of what the major entailed. I just thought, oh, I'll learn another language, but it was a lot trickier. There was a lot of other aspects involved.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Looks like we're kind of pretty evenly split across the board. We got about a quarter of you being like having some ideas for your major, about a quarter aren't sure where to start, and then a nice 50% are looking at options but unsure. We're getting some more of those responses coming in. But yeah, these are great places to be, no matter, like, all three of these spots are great places to be in. No one is expecting you to be declared exploratory 1 minute and then the next minute be fully set. Yes, mechanical engineering, let's go. Like, we don't expect you to be able to, if we could all just flip a switch like that for decisions, I'm sure we can make things go a lot faster. But anyway, my next question for you all is, what is important to you when choosing a major? So same thing, you can go to pollev.com or text that number again, 37607, NAU Gateway 254. And these can be a wide variety of things. Like, maybe it's your academic goals. Maybe you have a certain career in mind. Maybe you have graduate school in mind. Maybe there are a variety of different things that you want to think about before you choose a major. And we want to know, what are some of those important things for you? This is a great response. Oh my goodness, yes. Fun is super, yes, just absolutely. Fun, yes. Scientific, studies, career, money, another big one. These are great responses so far, and already things that I definitely thought about when I was picking a major. Money, income, careers, happiness, especially wanting to be happy with what you're doing, passion. You guys are hitting the nail on the head. Yes, these are great responses. Money becoming a big factor, especially with how economies work. We want to make sure that we can survive and thrive and help support the people we love. And education can be a big pathway to getting there. Passion, again, huge thing, because like Robbie said, you want to be able to focus on something that you enjoy and something you feel that you care about. So these are great responses. Yes, please keep those coming. Adventures, that is awesome, especially up at NAU. Adventures are literally around the corner with the Grand Canyon right there by Flagstaff. There's lots of hiking trails, lots of awesome ways, like places to explore, going down to Sedona, like being able to have those experiences integrated with your major as well can be a really big thing. All right. And then our last question, are there any majors you're considering right now? So again, same place to respond, same number to respond, 37607. Any majors you're considering now? Psychology, awesome. Communications, computer science, engineering, nursing, environmental sciences, journalism, more psychology and engineering popping up, film studies, business, lots of good ones, criminology as well. Yeah, these are great places to start. Engineering, psychology are huge in here right now. That makes so much sense. Psychology and engineering are such prevalent things right now. I think these are all awesome places to be considering. Looks like we got a response in the Q&A as well. Electrical engineering, awesome. Oh, biology as well, medicine. Perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for checking in with me about these different things. Yeah, definitely for things to consider when choosing a major, lots of different ways, lots of different areas to explore. So Now what we want to bring you over towards is how one method, this is just one method that we use for exploring majors. So all of those ideas you've started formulating already, we're going to try and apply them into this funnel here and make it all happen. So this funnel is a 3/4 step process where up at the top, we want to start by filtering our personal values, interests, and strengths. So things like, what am I passionate about? What do I do in my free time? What do I enjoy doing? What am I good at? What do I feel maybe I'm not so good at? What do I want to improve on? Then we bring it on down, we filter it down to shopping for majors and finding classes to explore. So when we're in this stage, we're kind of an interchangeable part of looking at the majors we want to explore and finding classes we want to take and explore. So these kind of can shift around. Classes can lead to majors, majors can lead to classes, vice versa. It's a nice little cycle right in there. And while we're looking at those classes, we develop transferable skills, which we'll go into in a little bit here. And then it all filters down to selecting that major. And hey, then you might change your mind again. We might do another filter, and that's totally okay. During this whole process, advisors and career development will be here to support you the entire time. We are never going to just kind of like send you out of our office being like, all right, figure it out. We do not want to do that to you. We want to be here to support you and help you figure out what personal values, interests, and strengths, major ideas, and classes that you've liked, how those all can fit together to get you a degree that suits you.
All right, so we're going to dive into just brainstorming and thinking some of the personal values and interests and strengths that you might have. So I would definitely like put some time in your schedule throughout this summer and throughout your first semester, especially to just journal, to process, to think, and to talk to your friends and family about some of these questions. But, you know, what do you do in your free time? You know, some of these questions seem silly, like, oh, well, I watch TV, I go outside, I hang out with my friends, right? But start finding patterns and themes throughout this. You know, think back in school, like what subjects did you like? And out beyond the subject, like were there classes that you like specifically and why? Did you like how the teacher taught? Did you like that you worked in teams a lot in one class? Did you like that one class you had a lot of individual work? You know, think about the classes and the subjects that you liked. What's a unique skill or interest you have? You know, this is really silly, but one of my unique skills and interests is that when I'm making breakfast, I can make it so that all the food is hot and ready at the same time. My husband, on the other hand, does not have that skill. The eggs are cold by the time the bacon's ready. And it's so silly and little, and we joke about it. But like there are tiny little funny skills like that you may have. What are interests that you have? You know, like I'm really interested in health and nutrition and learning about how the body works. So just think through all these things. What topics you enjoy hearing about or discussing? You know, look back at the podcast or the YouTube videos that you watch. What themes are coming up in there? What do you enjoy? What social or community groups are you involved in, or do you want to be involved in? And that's a little plug to get involved on campus, to try out all the different clubs, because that's other experience outside of the classroom that helps you. And then is there a specific physical setting that you desire to work in? Such as, like, do you like to be outdoors? Do you like to work in an office setting? Do you like the hybrid schedule? Are you a person that's like, I would go crazy if I were in a cubicle, or I would go crazy if I had to be on the front line of customer service with people? You know, think through those things and start jotting down what you notice. And there's no judgment to this. Everyone's different. And that's the beauty, I think, of humanity. But just pay attention to what is unique about you. And you'll start to find themes and things emerge from that. And so as you're reflecting, like I said, you want to notice patterns and themes in your responses. And we want to direct you to this resource after to go through all of these different tools. They're like these little quizzes that guide you through how to explore your interests and values and skills. So it's in our assessment tools, and you go to nau.edu/career. Advising and the career development, we love to support you as students. We work well together. So definitely check out all of those tools and save your responses and answers, because these are things that we as advisors would love to go over with you later.
All right, so then going down to our next section of the funnel, major ideas. We want to start getting you thinking about some of these major ideas. Think of that word cloud we brought up, how people were thinking about psychology, computer sciences, nursing, engineering. Just start brainstorming ideas of things you might be interested in. Search online for ideas and career paths like, oh, I know that I want to be a speech pathologist, as an example. Then you can search online, like what majors can lead towards speech pathology? Or I want to do something in biological sciences. What are careers in biological sciences? What are career fields in psychology? And going through some of those things, really diving deep. And honestly, I will go through a Wikipedia spiral, just looking at all the different cool things that could be done. So honestly, yeah, search online, go through those deep dives, see what you can find, see what inspires you. And of course, talk with people. I need to verbally process things all the time. I need to just talk it out, talk it through, because sometimes my brain is such a mess of jumbled ideas that I don't know what I'm thinking about. So then talking with your family, talking with your friends, your instructors during your classes, your advisor here at NAU, we are all wanting to help you make this decision and continually make the choice to continue pursuing something. And so with that, while you're exploring all these options, advisors want to encourage you to start checking some of the specifics out too. So first of all, would NAU offer a path towards this idea? The NAU Academic Catalog is super helpful for finding out if your ideas are able to be made into reality, essentially. So for example, I knew at one point I wanted to do something that had to do with gender studies. So I would go onto the catalog, go to the little search bar, type in gender, and it would pull up everything that's possibly related to that. So we would have things like psychology, women in gender studies, queer studies minor. We would have sociology. If you wanted to do medical fields, you could type in medical and see like, oh, biomedical sciences, nursing, public health, all of those good things all the way down. And then as well, when you're looking even to see if a major is even offered in this area, you can then check what's the highest math you need. I really liked math as a kid, so I didn't mind going high in math. But some of my friends, they were like, I am only going to take one math class in college and that is it. And for some majors, that's totally an option. Some majors might require a language while others don't. Some might require a minor or certificate. Some might require an external application like nursing. And then there's other requirements that might come up, like a GPA requirement, things like that. So the NAU catalog is really awesome because it lets you search all of those things. And then you can even see how they are going to look in a 4-year plan by going through the progression plans. The progression plans are super nice. We got one over here for our English degree where it lists, okay, for your year 1 fall, you want to take these 4 classes. For your year 1 of spring, you want to take these 5 classes. And it lists out a general progression for a 4-year plan. So then you can start comparing and be like, what do I want my 4 years here to actually look like? What do I want my education to be like? Do I want to spend a whole semester doing student teaching? If so, then an education degree might be something you're interested in. So lots of different ways to find out the specifics of those majors that you're interested in. But I'm sure you're all wondering.
Okay, but if we don't know or don't have a major, what classes do I choose? And so we want you to explore the catalog and the progression plan and explore some of the classes of the majors that you're interested in, okay? So we have a list, and this can be found on our Gateway website as well. But if you're interested in any of these, like anything in the pre-med path or in biology, it might be worth taking Bio 181 in the lab or Bio 182 in the lab. If you're interested in journalism, you know, taking Com 101 and JLS 105 are great exploratory courses. And so sometimes you have to just try something out to know if it fits, right? We do like to emphasize, though, this idea of efficiency in exploration, because, you know, some of you have scholarships or you're paying for school, and we don't want to pay for 12 years of undergrad. So we want to try and efficiently explore that. And so a lot of times these courses like CCJ 101, if you're interested in criminology and criminal justice, can also give you a social and political worlds, which is one of your liberal studies that you need. So anytime that you can find a class in one of the majors you're interested in, and it fits with the liberal study or diversity class that you need, that's a really cool way to explore, because let's say you don't go into that major, at the end of the day, it gives you a liberal study that you still need to graduate with. So if you're like, oh, I still feel stuck, always, I mean, one of our themes is always to talk to an advisor. But these are just some ideas of majors that you're, you know, classes you can choose. But then we get to this question a lot. What if I choose the wrong class? And I get that pressure, right? We don't want to, like I said, be in our undergrad for 12 years. So how do we do this? I think first, to breathe, because a lot of majors do require general electives. So if you chose the wrong class and it doesn't fit into liberal study, it could be a general elective, and that still is helping you graduate. And I like to think too that nothing is a waste, because even if you took a class and you're like Bio 181, and you're like, I'm going to be a doctor. Okay, take it. And you're like, I hate biology. This sucks. Well, aren't you glad you took it to weed that out, to help you clarify that that's not a path you want to go down? So in that sense, I think nothing's a waste. Nothing can be a wrong class in that sense. But we would want to talk through like what could be more beneficial classes for you to take from there. But what I am passionate about, and maybe this is because I am an advisor and I nerd out on this, but that we would use all of our classes and our experience at NAU and outside of NAU to help us develop this thing called transferable skills. And so transferable skills are the things that you learn that aren't necessarily the subject, right? So let's take, here's some examples. Psychology 101, right? You may not love what you're learning in the textbook of psychology, but you're learning how to maybe be analytical. You're learning how to have a strong work ethic because it requires a lot of reading and homework and responses, right? Or CST 111, public speaking. You know, you may not become a professional TED Talk speaker, but you know, these skills of speaking are teaching you creativity. They're teaching you how to have interpersonal skills. They're teaching you how to communicate. You know, you're going to give class presentations. That gives you that class would teach you how to then present very clearly and efficiently in other classes or in careers in your life. Personal finance, I always plug this class because it teaches you how to handle your finances so you don't learn it the hard way, right? But they're like, when I talk about learning Spanish, don't ask me to translate a whole book in Spanish to you, but I learned how to work as a team. There were a lot of group projects we worked on, right? I learned flexibility and adaptability when I lived and studied abroad. So there are so many things that we learn through our experience of diving into the unknown, diving into classes that we don't know where they're going to lead us, but we can always learn from something.
So once you're ready, whether this is tomorrow, a month from now, a semester from now, even a year, you can always declare your major in Louis. You can make a change to this once every 24 hours. So if you go and say, okay, I want to add my English major today. You can do that. But then if you realize right after, like, oh, I wanted to add a minor in a language, you can go back and do that the next day. If you decide one week, yes, English, that's it. But then the next week you decide, actually, I want to major in that language or in psychology or in something else, in biology, you can change it again, which is so nice. If you want to double major, you typically will want to talk to your advisor and see what that progression is going to look like, how those 2 degrees interact with each other. So, for example, English and a second language like Spanish can go really well together, but something like mechanical engineering and biology might not mesh as well because they're in very discrete fields. So again, it's okay if you change your mind. Just keep track of your progress. Your advisor will always be here to help assist you in making these decisions, in making changes in LUI, submitting forms on their end if they need to, and so on. But again, some majors may have certain timelines. Like, for example, nursing is a very strict 5-semester progression once you're admitted to the program. So what is that going to look like for a 4-year plan if you've already completed 4 semesters? What is it going to look like if you've only completed 2 semesters, and so on? So there are lots of different timelines that different majors will have that you can always talk about with your advisor so that you can make sure that you're on track for when you want to be able to graduate. So what do we do next? Well, as we've kind of mentioned many times throughout, talk with an advisor, start thinking about your classes and getting enrolled, whether that's classes that have been already put in your schedule, ones that you're going out and changing, swapping out, or adding in for the first time. Get involved in on and off campus. Like we said earlier, get involved in some clubs, find what your niche in NAU is. Go to figure out what internships you might want to do or maybe volunteering. For example, I worked at a job on campus through KJAC Radio. That was a class I enrolled in, CMF 251. It was a 1-unit course that I thought very little of, but it taught me so much about what I wanted to do. And so just getting out there into the campus community and seeing what options are there are really cool ways. And your advisor might always have suggestions for things that you might be interested in. And of course, try things out. It's like Colin said, it's okay if you don't like it. It's just marking off another box. I tried that. Let's go to the next thing. Tried that. Oh, I really liked this one though. And then continue to self-reflect. Keep thinking about those questions we asked earlier and be open to those changes. So there are lots of different ways that you can kind of start forging your path here at NAU. And a lot of it does start with you and also with help from your advisor.
So connecting with an advisor is super important for a lot of reasons. We want to continue this conversation. Even if once you've decided a major, let's check in. Let's see how it's going. We're here as guides to help you navigate these requirements and timelines, and sometimes to give you a realistic expectation of, hey, this is the timeline if we switch at this point in the game, or this is what you'll need to do if you want to graduate in 4 years. So we want to help you with that and have a realistic expectation of what you're going to go through so you can do that with ease. And then there are so many ways to contact us. You can schedule appointments with us. You can come to our Zoom and drop in advising hours or our office hours. Advisors have personal office hours, or you can email them at any time, right? You can't call us at 2 a.m., but you can email us at 2 a.m. if you're up and you're thinking about something. So reach out to us, connect. That is our whole job, and our passion is to help you find out what you're excited for and then go out into the world once you graduate. And then we also want to encourage you to connect with Gateway. Our Gateway website has tons of information. So it's a website that's worth bookmarking. And under this, we want you to specifically check out after this presentation in student resources, you select major exploration. We have a few worksheets you can go through. So lots of helpful tools for your exploring what major you want to do. And then scan that, get your phones out and follow us on social media. Instagram is where we're active with, giving you reminders and deadlines and tutorials. And then YouTube, we have videos on how to do everything on YouTube. So if you're like, how do I enroll in classes once I chose a major? Great. Go find the YouTube video. It's there. It walks you through how to do that. How do you change your major on Louis? We have a video for that. So those are resources that are for you your entire time here at NAU. So stay connected with us. And thank you for participating. We really appreciate you all showing up, and we hope that we can see your faces and meet you all one day. Or maybe we have already.
Yeah, especially if you're coming to an in-person orientation, feel free to stop by our open house, get to know some more about advising in general. As well, we have some other advising webinars happening this summer. We have our graduation game plan happening. We have our pre-med advising webinar happening. So be sure to check out those weekly emails you got with the link to this. Check out that NAU Go app. And of course, if you have questions on advising, feel free to reach out to your advisor. You can find them in Louis under academic progress under advisor, or you can always just email gateway@nau.edu.
Yeah, and we have 20 minutes right now. So we're here for the next 20 minutes and would love to answer any questions you have. So even if you're like, oh, this feels like a specific question just for me, I bet it will benefit someone else. So if you feel brave enough, we'll stick around and you can ask any question in our Q&A thing. So we'd love to hear from you. I don't see any questions yet, but maybe you're typing. Oh, here they come. What if you want to major in astronomy? I think that's a great major. Some things to think about starting out are, where is your math placement with astronomy? And also similar to engineering, it doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means you need to be creative and open to maybe some summer school or extending a semester if you have a lower math placement. And that's a good time. I'm going to plug Peak Performance right now. I want you, if any of you have a lower math than you think if you're stepping into anything in the STEM world, to Google NAU Peak Performance. It's a free math, gosh, how would I describe it? It's a free program where you get math coaching once a week for 5 to 6 weeks, and you work on these modules, and it helps you to increase your math placement. So that's something to think about if you are thinking you're going to go into the STEM world and you have lower math. So I totally went on a rabbit trail with that, but astronomy is awesome. What would be the difference in choosing something for a major versus a minor? That's a good question. I think there's a lot of aspects. Your major is going to be your bigger focus. A minor can be anything from 18 to 24 units. So sometimes, for depending on what major you have, if you have a lot of room, you could turn that easily into a double major. If you don't, then you want to consider a minor. It really just depends. So maybe if you had ideas of what major or minors you're thinking about, we could give you more of a concrete answer for that. I often think too, a minor can give you that little niche. And like Kelly, you had 2 minors, so you might be able to better explain this one, honestly.
Yeah, so a major versus a minor. A major can be anywhere from about 40 to 100 units. So this will be something like, for example, okay, so majoring in psychology and then minoring in criminology. So psychology would be your big umbrella that you're researching and learning. And then criminology would be like a little umbrella within it, kind of like a Venn diagram, but instead of 2 circles overlapping, it's a big circle with a little circle in it. So your primary study is psychology, and then learning about criminology is going to flavor it essentially. So it's like getting a I don't think a food metaphor is very appropriate with this.
I love a good metaphor though.
I don't know if it's a very good metaphor though. So
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I really think it's what you feel passionate about learning and what your niche is. So a lot of times, here's an example. A student's a studio art major, but they want to open up their own art studio and run a business through it. So then they'll do a business minor, right? That is something where it's like, oh, okay, I don't want to be a full-on business major. That's not my passion, but I need some business skills. So that took us a long time to get to that.
yeah, that was really good. Thank you. Thank you for attending.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, anything else that you all have? Looks like we've lost some people, or not lost, but people have left. If you want cooking and astronomy. Ooh, that's fun. We don't really have cooking necessarily. Hotel restaurant management does have some fun courses that you take in the restaurant industry, but you have to be an HRM, hotel restaurant management major or minor to do those. So I think it could work. It just depends your timeline. Like those majors they're pretty full. What I look for in majors, if you want a minor, is that you have a lot of general elective space. So that's something to consider. Or if you're ahead and bringing in a lot of transfer credits, it's helpful. Robbie, I see you're answering the Spanish class question. We will await your response.
Pressure's on.
What are you gonna say?
But yeah, for those of you who are still here, thank you so much for being here. We're really happy that you wanted to learn more about exploring majors. It's a really cool thing to talk about, honestly. So for any of you who are still wondering, like, I have no idea where to start, I would say definitely get that conversation started with an advisor, even just a quick email of, hey, I'm not sure on what my major is yet, but I found I've really enjoyed XYZ. I really am passionate about this. I know that I don't like this, and that can help get that conversation started. So anytime you have those kind of questions, please feel free to reach out to your advisor at any time.
Awesome. Well, we'll stick around for another minute until we see y'all leave, but if you think of any other questions, we're still here. Can we use certain dual enrollment credits for certain majors? Totally. Transfer credits, if NAU accepts them and they're required for your degree, yeah, they can totally go towards your majors or minors.
There are certain exceptions, like the School of Business, the Franke School of Business does require certain courses or a certain number of courses to be completed at NAU. So just kind of keep an eye out. And that's a great question also to ask an advisor, just in case something funky might be going on. But for the most part, yes, dual enrollment credits are awesome and can definitely be used for a wide variety of requirements.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
Of course, thank you. Unfortunately, if you are going to major in astronomy, you cannot minor in astrophysics. There is a 50% rule between majors and minors. So no more than 50% of your minor can also count towards your major. And because these two are so closely related, you can't really separate them out.
That would be a great conversation to have with an advisor to really talk through what path would you want to go down then if you're interested in both.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else?
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you all again so much for joining us today. It was really awesome talking with all of you, or talking at all of you, and hearing back all of your thoughts and ideas. And again, just one last plug. We always recommend chatting with your advisor to see what you're interested in and how we can best make your hopes turn into reality.
Yay. Have a great evening, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.